Okay, let's start.
Ready. Okay. I wanted to start with just like a quick review of where we're at and what we're doing here, right? So if you're human, you've got problems, right? It doesn't, you've got problems with health, you've got problems with your partner, you got problems with money. If you don't have problems with those, you're going to have problems with getting old, getting sick, and dying, right? Okay, see, now I'm talking at my normal pace.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying that you don't have to have those problems. Buddhism is saying that you don't have to have those problems. That the power of emptiness is that things can be anything. And you can get out of your suffering completely. You get out of your suffering completely by reaching enlightenment. Enlightenment, this is funny, right? In the United States, you'll hear somebody say, "Oh, I went away for the weekend and I got enlightened." Well, okay, maybe. But if you're enlightened, if you're, again, it's synonymous with being a Buddha, then your body's made out of light. Like they say it's like diamond light, like rainbow light. And you're omniscient, right? I mean, like, everything everywhere all the time in a single instant. You would know the winning number for next week's $1 billion lottery, right? Easy. And you wouldn't need it. You wouldn't care. So usually I'm a little skeptical. People say they got enlightened during the weekend. It takes a little longer than that. Not that I know for sure, right? I mean, maybe everybody's enlightened because I only know what I see. So anyway, we're saying that, and we're also saying that the only way you can get rid of all of your problems is to get enlightened, and that eventually everybody is going to get enlightened, because it's the only thing that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to stay in a suffering world if you can get out of it. And again, we're going to call the cycle of suffering that we go through. We'll discuss a lot more about it. It's called samsara. So we're stuck in samsara, and we're going to get out by getting enlightened. So then the question is, well, okay, and maybe it's possible, right? Maybe. How am I going to do that? And
looks like a pretty good deal, right? You get something, reach to the point, and you don't suffer anymore. You have all the pleasure. You are happy. They say that 1 second, if in one moment we can pack all the happiness that we got within our lifetime, it will be less than a being who evolved to this next level. Like different cultures call them angels, Buddhas, enlightened beings, etc. That this is less than they experience, that the happiness they experience.
And when I was preparing for the class, I was debating whether to say this next thing. It's hard to wrap your mind around. And then I was listening to the old classes, and my teacher, McMichael, said it, and so I will say it. Even your death is possible to overcome. You don't have to die in this lifetime. And then that raises all kinds of questions. and we'll discuss it. And I don't expect you to believe it right away. In fact, I wouldn't trust you if you believed it right away, because it's such an extraordinary statement. But even your aging and your sickness and death, they also are empty and can be different. And it's really shocking when you start rereading things that you've read in the past, looking for clues, looking at it from a different perspective. And you'll see that there are other people who've said the exact same thing before. And it's just the commentaries that were written on what they wrote. The commentators didn't know what to do with it. And so it gets messed up. But you'll see, we'll talk about it later, particularly with Christianity. It's impressive. It's pretty cool. So how are we going to get out? Can you get out just based on merit? I mean, just based on good actions?
Yeah, they say that, okay, if our world is coming from our deeds, maybe if we will just behave, do just something good to other people, will this be enough? Like even Jesus said that you should do to another person what you want for yourself, right? And every major religion says the same thing. So will it be enough?
Yeah, and for the English speakers, when she says even Jesus, it's not a diminutive form. It might she's not saying it like even Jesus said it. So the question is, because maybe we'll leave the whole subject of Jesus out. So we're saying that you're not going to be able to get out just based on merit alone. Like, right? If you give somebody a dinner, let's say you feed them for an evening, what you're going to get back is more dinner later on, if that's all you're doing, right? We're saying that there's a cause and effect relationship to everything you've ever done. And you get back, the results are going to be similar to what you've done to other people. So if you feed somebody, you're going to get fed in the future. That's nice. It's not enlightenment. It's not going to get you out of suffering permanently. It'll take care of a small suffering for a short while, but it's not going to get you out entirely. So in order to get out entirely, you're going to need the three principal paths that we were talking about yesterday. You want to review the three principal paths for them?
Yeah. Three principal paths is renunciation, which we said, I'm tired. I'm fed up with the fact that everything ends, nothing works as it should work. And probably every single person present here had some problems in your life, like somebody died who you loved, or the relationship didn't work out, or you lost your friend for some stupid misunderstanding, or you're getting old, your people you love are getting old, they get sick. I mean, my mom passed away half a year ago, and it was very it was very shocking, because she was dying as a queen, like very rarely people on this planet, they can have the conditions that she had. She had doctors and nurses coming to see her every day. She had all the pain pills, she had morphine in very high dose not to feel any pain, And it was horrible. I mean, she was dying for 10 days. And probably each one of you had something like that, right? What brought you here? And then you think, okay, I'm done, I'm tired, I want to do something else, something that will really work, that can really improve something, guaranteed improvement, right? What could it be? So I'm open to anything because I can see that the way I was acting in this reality is not efficient. And then the second step is what we call the Sanskrit word for it is bodhicitta. And you will learn why it is bodhicitta later in the course. But what it means is that I can see my own pain so much that I also start to see other people having the same thing. So basically, renunciation is a prerequisite to bodhicitta. If I do not think I am suffering myself, then I cannot have this idea that I want to get other people out of suffering, because there is no suffering. Okay, no suffering, no bodhicitta, no wish to stop their suffering, right? And the technical definition of the bodhicitta, the short one, there is a longer one, is the wish to become enlightened for every living being. So this is the step number 2, and the step number 3 is the correct worldview. And it means that I know that everything should not be the way I see it right now. And the only way that I can change it is to change my actions, what I think, what I say, and what I do. So, and this will change the whole world.
Yeah. Emptiness. It's a correct worldview that everything is empty. It's a difficult concept. It's a different way of thinking about the world. If you're human, you have to spend a lot of time thinking about it for it to make sense, but it does.
Can I contradict?
Well, go ahead. Yes.
I would say it's an
Can I
easy...
stop you from contradicting?
I would say it's an easy concept. Like it is very easy for two reasons. First, when people they hear it's difficult, they okay, forget about it.
No.
And second, it is really easy. The issue is it is easy to understand, but it will take probably several years to really start to practice this new worldview.
To be fair, I was first introduced to the concept in the university, and almost 40 years ago, 35 years ago. And the terms and the language they were using was difficult, and the people who were teaching it didn't really understand it the way McMichael did. So he has made it much easier to understand. So maybe it'll be easier for you than it was for me. I had to sit with it for quite a long time to have any idea. I knew that they were onto something. I knew that they had figured something out that was important. It took me a long time to start to understand it. So anyway, we're saying that if you're going to reach enlightenment, that if you're going to get out of suffering, just being good isn't going to be enough. You're going to also, want to actually get out of samsara. get out of your suffering by reaching enlightenment for the sake of every living being. And that you're not going to be able to do it completely any other way. And we can talk about the difference between nirvana and enlightenment later, which it's actually, it's really a cool discussion. So
Okay, let's
anyway.
start with the class.
All right. Well, that was the first question. That was the first question.
Mhm.
Okay. You ready? So here, this is what we were just discussing. Does merit necessarily lead to nirvana and Buddhahood? Why or why not? The difference between nirvana and Buddhahood, since it's up there on the screen, nirvana is the cessation of your mental afflictions, and Buddhahood is full enlightenment. And so the difference between the two is something we can discuss later, but nirvana is it's a lower level. You can reach nirvana and still not have enlightenment. You've stopped your mental afflictions. You're in a very peaceful place. You're not fully enlightened yet. So there's a distinction between the two, and it's pretty significant. So Sanskrit word for the Great Seal. You want to talk a bit about this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There is something interesting that McMichael is introducing in this class, and you can see on the screen. It is called the Great Seal, or Mahamudra in Sanskrit, and Chak Chen in Tibetan. And this is something that is really important in these teachings, and like both open teachings and secret teachings. It is a little bit different, has a little bit different flavor, and what it means is basically it is a code word for seeing emptiness directly. And we didn't talk yet much about the way one becomes a Buddha or an enlightened being. And basically, there is a non-returning point, which is called direct perception of emptiness. And emptiness here means perception of the ultimate reality, perception of the fact that nothing is itself. I mean, I perceive this as my telephone, but it is my telephone only because of the power of my seeds that I'm with the help of which I'm projecting the telephone onto this form and these colors. And it could be something else depending on what I was doing, saying and thinking before. And so there is a special state called direct perception of emptiness. And we will be talking, I think, all 18 ACI courses about it. Almost each of them is about this milestone, because it is the milestone. It is something that acts as a non-returning point. A person after direct perception of emptiness is technically not a human anymore. He or she looks like a human, but they become gradually another being. They gradually evolve into this state about which...
Well, it's not really gradual, it's instantaneous, right? Like you sit down, you have the direct perception of emptiness, and then
gradually into an enlightened being.
Yeah, oh, okay,
There
all
are
right,
stages.
yeah, enlightened, yeah, right. So
Okay.
So again, the direct perception of emptiness is
slower.
the direct perception of emptiness. You learn to meditate really well. You've been studying emptiness. You sit down in meditation, and then you have this moment where you've had the direct perception of emptiness. You see the ultimate nature of reality directly, and then we'll talk about it more. It's really cool, and it's what distinguishes these teachings from a lot of other teachings. The people who've been writing these books have had that experience. They've seen emptiness directly, and that's why the teachings are so good, is because they've actually seen these things. And you're a human before you've had the direct perception of emptiness. You sit down, the experience takes about 20 minutes. When you get up, you're an Arya. You're never going to come back to you are definitely going to get enlightened at that point. You are on a definite track out of samsara, out of suffering. So that's why it's so significant. And so Mahamudra is a term for the direct perception of emptiness.
Yeah. And what it means actually from Sanskrit, it is a great seal. It was a seal that my husband has a ring, and just a moment, I will stop sharing and he will show. Like, and it has a negative image on it.
Right.
Negative.
They're not going to be able to see it there, but
yeah, just don't move your hand very quickly. And this negative image was used in ancient times by the king to make a seal, to seal the documents. And by the way, the positive image is up here. So, what it is, it's an angel in our tradition.
And the king used it to seal all of his official letters, right? It wasn't from the king until it had been sealed, and it was an extremely important symbol. If you made a copy that was similar to that, it was instant death penalty. And so it was a symbol of his authority. And in the same way, it's also a symbol of emptiness, right? Because your emptiness is everywhere around us. Everything is empty. And it's what gives us the power to get out of suffering, right? Like it's possible to change your world because things are empty. So,
okay.
Give us the power. That wouldn't be the right way to phrase it. Gives us the ability. Your mind is what's going to change things, but you can change things because they are empty. So,
yeah, okay. Now, now there is a discussion. You want to do it? You want me to do it? Relationship.
No, you can do that.
Okay. So actually, it is interesting because in the original class, McMichael goes into debates with his audience, and they are like shocked because they have never seen Tibetan debates. And McMichael is a Tibetan monk, and Tibetan monks, they are not allowed to watch TV. They don't watch football. So probably this is why they are so patient in debates, but it really looks like they will be almost they are starting a fight when they debate. But it's obviously they never start a fight, but it is very intense, and they are screaming and they are shouting their answers. And he starts Tibetan debates, and his audience, like people who are listening, like, whoa, it is. And he says that everything in the world has either 3 or 4 relationship. And in Tibetan, it was mushi, 4 relationship, or musum, 3 relationship. And basically, out of my understanding of the debates, I can tell you that if there is a relationship, then you will answer to 3 of them with yes and to 1 with no. And if you answer all with yes, then there is no correlation between things. So basically, he reviews 4 possibilities. And maybe if you are a psychologist, you know it's one of the techniques that is used in psychology a lot to, if you don't know what decision to make, right? So you review 4 possibilities. A and B, no A, no B, A, no B, no AB. So, for example, is there a relationship between sky and blue? Can there be a sky that is blue? A and B, yes. Can the sky be not blue? Yes, it can. Like sunset, sunrise, right? Can be pretty pink, pretty pinky. Can something else be blue? Not sky, but blue. Yeah. Anything, fabric, many things. Flowers, maybe. Can they be blue flowers? Yeah, they can. Can something be not blue and not sky? Obviously, right? So these are 4. And you have either 3 or 4. Like if I would say that, okay, the sky, I don't know, cannot be yellow, pink, etc. I would say, oh, definitely there is a relationship, right? So, and he is discussing here in this way, is there any relationship between the 3 principal paths, renunciation, I'm tired of the world that does not work, bodhicitta, and correct worldview, 3 principal paths, and the Great Seal, this entering point, right? This direct perception of emptiness that enables us to reach this another level, Buddhahood, right? And he says that Mahamudra, so direct perception of emptiness, let's say, is a direct result of 3 principal paths by reviewing this Mushi Musun. And I think it was a little bit unfair to debate with the students that came for the second time.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about that when Geshe-la, this was 1993.
Slow down.
When Geshe-la was teaching this, he was near the end of getting his Geshe degree. And so he was immersed in Tibetan culture, Tibetan forms of learning, and so he came back out, and his original teachings were more traditional Tibetan and geared toward a Tibetan culture. And then his later teachings, the second time I went through it, it was more for a Western audience. And so, yeah, I got a little lost with the Mushi Muso. I just was tired.
We were discussing why he has done it to these brand new students, and we think that he was trying to plant a seed in them, for debates, that in future they would not get scared when we will come to the logic courses, because there are 2 beautiful courses based completely on the logic, course 4 and course 13. And meanwhile, the seeds will grow.
And the reason why logic is important in this is that we're not saying do this because somebody you can't see told you to do this. We're saying that there's a logical reason for to live an ethical life, that there's a logical reason why you can get out of suffering. And so they teach you logic.
Yeah, you should check it out yourself.
Yeah, which is something, frankly, I personally really loved, and I think Westerners in general are going to really, people in general are going to really like. Yeah.
Okay, so first answer is there is a connection between three principal paths and Mahamudra. Mahamudra is a direct result from practicing the three principal paths well, if somebody practices well. And then the second question, is there any relationship between the three principal paths and higher teachings? Because McMichael, he's a genius. He organized all the open teachings in 18 ACI courses. And I hope you will be able to appreciate the second part of the teachings when you will complete the first 18 courses. There is another set of 18 courses that are diamond way teachings. And it is as brilliant as the first ones, or even better. And by the way, it is first time in the history that somebody organized it in such a systematic teaching. And so the question is here, like the secret teachings, are they related somehow to the three principal paths? And the answer is yes. So if in fact a person who practices three principal paths well reaches all the diamond way, these higher teachings levels, almost automatically. The diamond way teachings are completely based on these three principal paths. And when you will graduate from the first 18 ACI courses, you will see what will be happening. You will basically go back to three principal paths right away.
And a little background on what we're talking about here. So with the first 18 ACI courses, they're the foundational courses. We're going to mostly be discussing cause and effect and emptiness. And then there's a whole big range of topics that come out of that, like the entire universe, right? And so, but once you have a pretty solid understanding of karma and emptiness, cause and effect and emptiness, then you learn how to apply that in the advanced teachings. And there's no sense in going on to the advanced teachings until you understand cause and effect and emptiness. And you'll see in the homeworks, they use the word Tantra. It's been hugely misunderstood. And so we don't use the term anymore. What the diamond weight practices are, what the Vajrayana practices are, it's the way to apply your knowledge of cause and effect and your knowledge of emptiness to get out of samsara in one lifetime as fast as possible. So,
okay, that was the.
And you can't reach those teachings unless you're practicing the three principal paths. And if you practice the three principal paths and and do your homeworks and do the coursework, you'll reach those paths effortlessly.
Yeah, and by effortlessly, I mean people are wondering many times, like, oh, who can teach me how it will happen? Don't worry. Do 18 ACI courses and everything will happen.
Yeah, it's not somebody's to give you, you'll create it for yourself.
You will create the causes to meet
Yeah.
these teachings in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
The two principal causes that bring about Buddhahood. This is just a way of dividing up the three principal paths, right? There's method and there's wisdom. Method is going to be the things you think, the things you say, the things you do.
There will be more information.
Yeah, I know.
So,
um,
because we have said that you can reach enlightenment, right? Anybody basically can reach enlightenment, and this is why in these teachings we value everybody's life, animals, right? Because they say everybody will become this highest being with the time. It meant to be. Just the question is when it will happen. And so there are two main causes. And they have funny names. I mean, method was very funny to me. And wisdom. And they say they are like two winds to get to this state with no suffering, complete happiness, and body of light. And method, we will talk about it a little bit more. Method meaning thoughts and deeds of a bodhisattva, and bodhisattva is a person who basically is walking this path to the Buddhahood and wisdom.
So method is going to relate to the first two of the three principal paths, renunciation and the wish for enlightenment. This is mostly things that this is the things that you're actually doing, right? Physical actions. Then wisdom is going to be the correct view of emptiness. And it's interesting, like what distinguishes wisdom from something that you're thinking, right? When you have the direct perception of emptiness, it's not conceptual. If you're thinking, I'm having the direct perception of emptiness, you're not having it because it's the thought, I'm having the direct perception of emptiness. That's a concept. That's a label you're putting onto something. And so the direct perception of emptiness is non-conceptual. So it's in a different category. That wisdom is in a different category than the knowledge that you're holding in your head.
Yeah. So basically, to reach enlightenment, you need method and wisdom. And method in this three principal paths, you see, it consists of renunciation and the wish for enlightenment, and the wisdom is all about the correct view. So in three principal paths, you can get already both winds, right? You wanted to talk about this?
Yeah, this is interesting because again, you'll hear people say, oh, I got enlightened. And it's synonymous with being enlightened and being a Buddha are the exact same thing. And so then what does that look like, right? It can be complex. The Tibetans love dividing things up and putting them into categories. But to start with, there's the physical body, the Rupakaya, and the mental body, the Dharmakaya. So the physical body can be also further subdivided into two. And this is a little complex, but the body that they have it's not made out of meat, right? Like this horrible stuff that that we're trapped in. Their body's made out of light. Yeah. And they're in a paradise world. And what's really interesting is that paradise world, it's not a physical location, right? Like it's not something, like as a Christian, you have the idea that, God above, right? And that you're going to get in a rocket ship and you can get to heaven. And you change your mind and you change the world around you. And so they could be sitting here and they would be seeing a different world. They'd be sitting in their paradise. And their mind is different. There's two parts to their mind. One is we share with them, and that's the emptiness of their mind. Your mind has its own emptiness. The other part that if you're human, you don't have is the omniscience. They know everything in the past, everything in the present, everything in the future, and they know it all in one single instant. So that's what it means to be enlightened, to be a Buddha. And we'll talk more about the different bodies. And Geshe in the first class actually goes into a bit of discussion about emanations. Do you want to discuss emanations now, or
No,
we can?
We will discuss it in future.
It's really fascinating because there's parallels to Christianity that it's obvious that they're talking about the same thing. But we can do that later.
Not only Christianity, if whatever religion you have, you can review with this knowledge, this religion, and see that somebody was teaching something correct in the past. Then the knowledge was a little bit lost, faded, people misunderstood things. But originally it was something really correct, coming from the same exact idea.
Yeah, I think one of the more powerful things that's going to come out of this is that Christians will learn to reappreciate Christianity.
And I want to share a story how I heard this teaching, because if you are a newcomer here, then probably these things, they look weird to you. Probably you are surprised with what we are teaching. And I want to say that I'm coming from scientific background. So I had, we can say I had no religion in my childhood. I entered medical university when I was 16. 21, I became a doctor, pediatrician. 27, I defended my thesis, PhD thesis. And the reason why I ended up here was that I couldn't explain many things. I mean, I went to this medical university because I wanted to know why people are getting sick and die. I was thinking, okay, those guys, they were all stupid. They didn't get why. Maybe if I will come and I will learn these things, maybe I will see how I can stop it. And in America, they say I was an A+ student. I mean, I didn't have any bad marks at all at my university, only the highest, because I was really learning and I wanted to know. And I was frustrated completely when I started to work as a doctor because I realized they don't know. they can say how, like, okay, yesterday we brought my father for his COVID shot, right? And he had his COVID shot, and later he sent to me a picture. I was thinking, well, what is this? And it was a cemetery, and their friend died from the same exact COVID. My parents' friend 2 years ago, and I was thinking, it's so weird, like how many people now he has this shot and he will not get his COVID. And she had this lady, her name was Ludmila. She never had the chance because there was no vaccine at that time. Her lungs were damaged and she died. And she was younger than my father. And we know how she got this COVID, and there was no vaccine, right? And we don't know why she ended up at wrong place, where she got a person with COVID, why her organism reacted in such a way, specific way, that launched all these reactions. Let's not go into biochemical details, but we don't know why. We know how. And I was working in a pediatric department of children of early age. And it was honestly a department for children who had severe problems, serious problems, like children left by their parents at the hospital right after delivery, because they would have chromosome aberrations, and other congenital diseases. And other children would be from asocial families, like women drinking, drug addict parents. They would have very like heavy diseases, like and they were dying. I mean, children of first years, they were dying because of we couldn't do anything for them. Like I remember a girl died 1 year something. 1 year was important for us because under 1 year there would be several reports. After 1 year old, there would be only like one. And she died right after she had 1 year. And I had to report why she died. I had to write all the antibiotics she was taking, all the drugs I prescribed when I changed the therapy. And I remember I was shocked when I have seen that the committee reviewing the case has written that the death was avoidable conditionally. I was thinking, what? Avoidable conditionally? A child was born 25 weeks old and never was able to eat or drink normally. Like it would, her lungs and nervous system were not functioning properly. So this is about where we are and why we are here. And I think why I ended up here. And this is why I started to think that, okay, the science doesn't know. But there should be somewhere this information. Somebody should know. And this is how in 2014 I met Geshe Michael Roach. And I can just share with you that all my questions that I had that time with my scientific worldview are all resolved by now. I don't have these questions anymore. I have other questions. I would never ever think that I can have these questions. But this is how it worked.
Yeah.
Next question.
Next question.
Okay.
The two causes of the two bodies. You want to discuss that one?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so now you know that if somebody will come to you and claim that they reached enlightenment over the weekend, hopefully none of our group.
Yeah. We're going to ask for some proof if you. We want the winning number for the lottery. If you do.
So now, if somebody claims, or if you hear that somebody talks about what the Buddha or an angel or whatever it is called in different cultures means, it means collection. It means two bodies: body of light, right? Basically, Rupakaya, physical body, and you will learn in future courses that actually it has two parts, and Dharmakaya, or it is mental and ultimate nature part of the body. So basically, they know everything. They have omniscience, and they have the body of light. This is important. So, and what are the causes? Because it's, by the way, it's pure science. Anything should have a cause. And a cause, according to science worldview, is something that always lead to the same result. It is very important to remember. So what will always lead to these two bodies of the Buddha? A collection of wisdom will cause Buddha's wisdom body, and collection of merit, meaning good deeds, is the cause of Buddha's form body. And you will, when you will be doing the homeworks, I hope everybody will do homeworks, then you will see that it is slightly similar to the previous questions, but there is a difference. And please think about these different questions. Why it is phrased in this, the exact way it is phrased, because it's not by chance. Okay.
Okay, and so this is going to make sense. It's pretty logical. Which of the three principal past causes each of the two bodies? And so the two that are related to action create the physical body, so renunciation and the wish for enlightenment. And remember, the wish for enlightenment is just renunciation for everybody, you know, the desire that everybody gets out of enlightenment, or gets out of samsara, gets out of suffering. So that's going to lead to the physical body, the light body of the Buddha. And then correct view, which is, you know, the understanding of emptiness, is going to create, and this mental and ultimate nature. Ultimate nature is synonymous with emptiness. So that's really the omniscience and you already have the emptiness. Your mind has the same exact emptiness as a Buddha, which is why you can become a Buddha, right? The fact that your mind is empty in the same way that theirs is. So that's it.
And I wanted to add something like you may hear new words you have never heard before, or maybe you heard but didn't really think about it, like samsara, he says. Bill said, and you will get all the definitions with the time, but what samsara means is just this, it's a cycle, it's a cyclic life. And the short definition is the fact that we have to take on over and over, let's say, impure parts, they say, of ourselves. It means that we are not in control of our life, if I can rephrase it. And this is something that definitely can be changed. And also some other terms like bodhicitta, wish for enlightenment, and other. Please don't get scared. You will learn all of these terms easily, and they are necessary. Some of them are not necessary. We try to rephrase them, to change with words that are more understandable. Like McMichael nowadays does not like really the word renunciation, but it's already everywhere in the ACI courses. He says, I like more, I'm tired, I'm fed up with the fact that nothing works properly.
Yeah, renunciation in English at least sounds like you're having to give up something. Like I'm gonna, like I'm going to go live and I'm gonna take vows of renunciation, live in a monastery, and have nothing but the bare minimum. And that's not what we're talking about. Renunciation is just tired of suffering.
Yeah.
Tired of this world where nothing really can go right in the end.
So basically, when you are tired of this world and you can see other people also getting tired, then you are building your physical body of an enlightened being. And if you understand where does it come from, and the fact that there is nothing self-existing, only your previous actions, words, and thoughts are creating your reality, then this contributes to your future mental and ultimate nature part of your enlightened being.
And specifically, just getting tired alone isn't enough. You have to actually do something about it once you're tired. So how do you know you have renunciation? You're actually trying to get out. Yeah. So.
Okay. So why can't we just, snap our fingers and become angels, enlightened beings, blah, blah, blah? Why it does not happen like that? Because we have obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about obstacles?
Yeah, obstacles to omniscience and obstacles to reach. So there's two obstacles you have. You have mental afflictions, and this was really, again, Geshe-la kept saying in these early classes, we'll talk more about it, and so now I'm finding myself here, we'll talk more about it. The idea of mental afflictions, it's really quite helpful. But it's anger and jealousy, or ignorance is at the root of it. But those two, and we're constantly being agitated, constantly suffering from our own mental afflictions, right? If you're human.
Yeah, and usually we do not think we really suffer.
Yeah. And the other one are obstacles to omniscience. We were talking earlier about nirvana, And nirvana is the cessation of mental afflictions. And you can have that, you can have the direct perception of emptiness and reach nirvana, the cessation of mental afflictions, but still not get enlightened if you don't have bodhicitta, right? If you don't have the desire to do it for every living being. And so, somebody who has reached nirvana, who reached the cessation of mental afflictions, still has obstacles to omniscience. And it's an interesting discussion of what that means and what that looks like. But those are the two obstacles.
Yeah. In Tibetan, the obstacles to omniscience, they're called Shedrip. She is wisdom, and drip is obviously obstacle. And related obstacles related to mental afflictions are called nyon drip. Nyon is mental afflictions, and drip is obstacle. And sometimes they are called obstacles to omniscience and obstacles to nirvana, instead of obstacles related to mental afflictions.
And this is something I want to correct from yesterday. I said that Jason Kappa translated 10,000 pages material. That's because having been around Geshe Michael quite a bit, he's always translating. He does write new books, but mostly what he's doing is translating. And so Jason Kappa was writing text. And I think I said he translated 10,000 pages, but that was more from being around Geshe Michael. So Jason Kappa wrote 10,000 pages. Well, and by original, the Tibetans steal a lot. It was considered to be good form.
Commentaries.
Yeah, commentaries.
Okay, I want to say something about commentaries.
Okay.
It is really important because all these teachings, originally, they are some of them 2,000 and half, 2,500 years old. And the language, if you are a translator, you probably know how much the language changes even within 100 years. 200 years, it is really challenging to translate. Try to read Shakespeare, you will see you don't know English. I was thinking I do not speak English when I heard Shakespeare original text. Same I speak other languages and it is just not recognizable. Can you imagine how much it changed since 25 centuries? So also people changed, when the historical Buddha and historical Jesus and other historical figures, they were teaching, people had better memory than we have now. And they were able to learn by heart everything they heard, from the first time. They would recite by heart every single word that they heard. And this is why all the sutras, they start with, I heard it once, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or once I heard. Then people stopped understanding in 400-500 years what was written there. And the brightest of the teachers who had their realizations in their minds, they were writing commentaries okay, you do not understand this verse. One of the most ancient books is written in verses, Abhidharma Kosha, where the structure basically of the universe and how the world is functioning is described. 35 stages of the meditation of seeing emptiness directly. 37 qualities of an enlightened being, like really details, not talking about atoms described 2,500 years ago, and the universe, the structure of the universe. And these books, they were like codes. Nobody could understand them because like one word would mean the whole idea, right, in these verses. So ancient panditas, teachers, they were writing commentaries like, okay, this means that and this means that, and this is how you should understand it. Then Indian commentaries appeared. 200-300 years after, these commentaries also were not understandable. So a new generation of commentaries on the commentaries appeared. And it's like an onion skin, you know. So this is why we have usually early commentaries, then later commentaries on the commentaries, and we start with the latest that we got. So this is why we start with the commentary by Pabonka Rinpoche on Lamtso Nam Sum, Three Principal Paths, that he basically wrote in the 20th century. Because of this this issue, right? And Jetsun Kappa's verse is dated like probably what, 15th century?
Probably 1357, 1419. So yeah, probably the last of his works would have been 15th century.
Yeah. So, and we have one more thing to discuss left today. And this is, remember I told you I'm playing the game. I'm trying to guess why our teacher McMichael decided to put this last strange question here. Because it's really weird. Like we were talking all about the bodies of the Buddha, of a Buddha, and the causes, and three principal paths. All these classes basically, how this book, Three Principal Paths, will help you, why it can help you. I mean, it's strange, right? You're coming to a class where people seriously claim that there is something that can stop not only all the wars on the planet, but your own death, really? Are they crazy? And I think this is why we have this question as the last one in this class, right? And the question is why Jetsun Kappa was able to write 10,000 pages of incredibly deep and difficult explanations, like original texts, commentaries on very ancient texts. And the answer is surprising. It says he had direct communication with the enlightened being named Gentle Voice, and the Sanskrit for it is Manjushri. Maybe you heard this name. Do you think we should reveal why, or let them think on their own?
Why Geshe Michael had discussion with Manjushri?
Yeah, my game, you know, I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
The last question is usually the most important in the class.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, is it possible? You know, are there enlightened beings if they're enlightened beings that are beyond time, then they could see us here right now, right? So if there's enlightened beings that are beyond time that can see us right now, why aren't we talking to them? or can we listen to them? Is that possible? So
there is a very interesting story. Probably we will tell the story some other day. But basically, it is very important. This question is very important, maybe the most important in this class. Because we were just talking about relationship between three principal paths and Mahamudra, three principal paths and secret teachings, right? And then, by the way, Jetson Kappa was communicating to an enlightened being, right? And I think McMichael plants here at this point seeds in us to basically to accomplish something similar in the future, right? And he says that, guys, this path really worked out for people. Like Jetson Kappa was in communication with such a being. He walked this path. The path worked out for him. And he met this angel, and this angel was teaching him, right? So he basically dictated his books. This is why he was very good at writing fast.
yeah.
And if he did it, you can do it. Because we have his guidance of a person who did it. That's it from my side.
That's all I got.
We will send you the link for the McMichael class that will start in 15 minutes in the chat. And see you in in 2 hours, 15 minutes for the class 3, my favorite class in ACI 1. And Will McMichael will be teaching it.
Great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.